Hare Krishna, everyone. This is a trial directly for discussing about Bhagavad-Gita. We are doing this like this for the first time as a way of purification and as a service for everyone. So in the last month, we kind of discussed the verse Matra Sparshas Kaunteya Shitoshna Sukadukada Agama Paino Anityastam Tikshasva Bharata. That was chapter 2, text 14. Now, the text 15 says, Yam hi na vyathyantyete purusham purusharshava samadukha sukham dhiram so amritatvaya kalpate. Go by word, it says Yam, one to whom he certainly, na, never, vyathyanti, are distressing, ete, all these, purusham, to a person, purusharshava, O best among men, sama, unaltered, dukkha, in distress, sukham, and happiness, dhiram, patient, sa, he, amritatvaya, for liberation, kalpate, is eligible. The translation is, O best among men. So Arjuna is being called as best among Purusharshava. So Purusharshava means one who is best among men. So Krishna is addressing Arjuna as Purusharshava. The person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress. Yam hi vyatyanti ete sama dukkha sukham. So one who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. So sama dukkha sukham dhiram. So amritatvaya kalpate. So he is certainly eligible for liberation. Krishna says that, purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, anyone who is steady in his determination for the advanced stage of spiritual realization and can tolerate the onslaughts of distress and happiness is certainly a person eligible for liberation. In the Varnashrama institution, the fourth stage of life, namely the renounced order sannyasa, is a painstaking situation. But one who is serious about making his life perfect surely adopts the sannyasa order of life in spite of all difficulties. The difficulties usually arise from having to sever family relationships to give up the connection of wife and children. But if anyone is able to tolerate such difficulties, surely his path to spiritual realization is complete. Similarly, in Arjuna's discharge of duties as a Kshatriya, he is advised to persevere, even if it is difficult to fight with his family members or similarly beloved persons. Lord Chaitanya took sannyas at the age of 24, and his dependents, young wife as well as old mother, had no one else to look after them. Yet for a higher cause, he took sannyasa and was steady in the discharge of higher duties. That is a way of achieving liberation from material bondage. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This is text chapter 2, text 14. Yam hi vyatyanti ete purusham purusharshava sama dukkha sukham dhiram so amritatvaya kalpate. This is a very wonderful verse where Krishna is saying Samadukha Sukham Dhiram. So this is the main point of this verse, where Krishna is stating about equanimity, how equanimity helps us in terms of living in this material world. We are all aware that this material world is not constant. There is constantly change happening in the material world. And this is the inherent characteristic of this material world, where neither happiness nor sorrow remains there with us constantly. So therefore, Krishna, in fact, one of the things here that we have to understand is Krishna very clearly states in other verses where he says, Mamupetya punarjanmam dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata. So what does that mean? Krishna says that Mamupetya punarjanmam dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So he's speaking about the material world in terms of the qualities, the characteristics of the material world, which he says is it's an abode of misery and it's temporary. So how do we understand that in terms of practically, how do we understand that actually what happens is when the senses are in search of sense gratification, this concept of misery is totally not seen. And that's where the living entity continuously keeps taking birth because of the identification with the material body. Originally, the living entity is eternal. So Krishna, there are various verses where Krishna very clearly describes that the living entity is eternal. There is no na jayate mrete va kadachin. There was never a time when the living entity itself takes birth or dies. It is the material body. So when the identification with material body happens, there is this temporary happiness and temporary distress. So they both are actually temporary. But when we identify ourselves with who we really are as part and parcel of Krishna, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manashashtani Indriyani Prakrtisthani Karshati. Krishna describes in Bhagavad-Gita that the living entity is an eternally a part and parcel of his part and parcel, Krishna's part. Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Sanatana means eternally. Eternally, Jiva Bhuta is a living entity, is Mamai Vamsha. Eternally, he is my part and parcel. He is my part and parcel. So, Manashashtani Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. So, what is happening is when there is identification taking place in terms of mind and the five senses, the mind is the sixth sense, it is called Manashashtani Indriyani. So, including the mind, it is the sixth sense. Because wherever the mind is, all the other senses automatically are there. So Krishna actually gives therefore Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. So Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita that give your mind to me. He's saying Manmana bhava madbhakta, become my devotee. Madhyaji, offer your prayers to me. Mam namaskuru, offer your obeisances to me. Mame vaishyasi satyam te, surely you'll come to me. So satyam te pratijane priyosime. Oh Arjuna, I'm telling this to you because you're very dear to me. Priyosime. That's why this mind is the most significant instrument that we have in terms of either getting engrossed in the material plane or going above the material plane into the transcendental realm. So There is another beautiful verse which says, Mana eva manushyanam karanam moksha bandhana bandhaya vishya sange mokshaya nirvishya mana. So what does it mean? It says that mind itself is a cause of bondage and liberation for a living entity. Mana eva manushyanam, for the living entity, especially in the human form of life. Karanam moksha bandhani. So either in terms of liberation or in terms of getting conditioned by the material changes. So the mind itself is the cause. So how does the mind drag us into the conditioned state? Bandhaya Vishaya Sangha. So when the mind gets attached to the material things, then Bandhaya Vishaya Sangha, then it becomes conditioned. Mokshaya Nirvishaya Mana. When the mind is detached from material things, it is liberated. It is in a liberated state. And how do we differentiate between what is material and what is spiritual? So there is a very beautiful verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita that actually helps us understand what is material and what is spiritual. So Krishna Surya Sama Maya Haya Andhakar Yaha Krishna Taha Nahi Maya Ra Adhikar. So it's a very beautiful verse which says that Krishna is like the sun and the material energy is the darkness. So wherever there is sun, there is no question of having darkness. We can even think of it from today, where it has been very cloudy and there's this storm Dennis that has come today. So there is this storm and it is causing lots of rain and lots of wind and so many other things. And it's cloudy. And even though the sun personally is not there, but we still can understand that it is daytime because of the brightness that is there. So this is the amazing kind of example which we can use to understand that even if there is a lot of material covering that we have, the brightness of spiritual, our real spirit, always shines forth. This is an example of today. There is the sun by itself is not visible on the sky, but we know that the sun is there because there is at least a certain amount of brightness. It's not like totally night. And when the sun disappears, then we know that it is night and it is totally dark. So then this is that's a very beautiful kind of example that is given. There is another beautiful example when we talk about sun. Ekadesha sthitas agnir jyotsna vistarini yatha parasya brahmana shaktir tadedam akhilam jagat. So this is a very beautiful verse from our Vedas. It says that Ekadesha sthitas agnir jyotsna vistarini yatha. So the fire is at one place, but it distributes its heat and light and energy everywhere. Parasya brahmana shaktir tathedam akhilam jagat. So therefore, similarly, the whole material and spiritual universes are going on by the strength of the transcendental energy of the Lord. The fact that we are able to see, hear, and do so many things, like Krishna says that Jivanam Sarva Bhuteshu. So Krishna is actually the life in all the living entities, and then Mrityu Sarva Haraschaha. So when there is death, that is also Krishna. So Aham Adishya Madhyam Cha Bhutanam Antam Eva Cha. So Krishna is the beginning, Krishna is the middle, and Krishna is the end as well. Therefore, the vision has to be such that we understand that Yomam pashyati sarvatra, sarvam cha mai pashyati, tasyaham na pranashyami, sacha me na pranashyati. So that has to be the vision that we should aim for, where one sees that everything is emanating from the Lord. Aham sarvasya prabho, sarvam pravartate. So when we know that each and everything, this universe, belongs to Ishavasyam idam sarvam, yat kincham jagatyam jagat, that everything belongs to Krishna. So, aham sarvasya prabho matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. So Krishna says that one who knows that everything is emanating from me, aham sarvasya, one who knows that matta sarvam prabhu iti matva bhajante mam, so one who knows that everything is coming from Krishna, then one engages oneself in the loving devotional service of Krishna. Bhajante mam. And what kind of person is such a person? Buddha. Such kind of person is intelligent. So real intelligence is when we can use our faculties in the service of the Lord. Because everything is given by the Lord. There is nothing that is not from Him. So therefore, the logical thing is to engage as much as possible, whatever we have, in the service of Bhagwan. Iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. The last words is bhava samanvita. So that is the most important thing here. Bhava grahi janardana. So whatever we are doing with love. So that's the most important ingredient that can be given to the Lord. Nothing else. Like the Lord is not in need of anything else. That's why there is no force here in terms of actually getting. If Krishna wanted, he could actually engage all the living entities forcefully in his devotional service. But what is the use of doing that? So there is no benefit in that. The living entities therefore have their own independence to either engage in devotional service or not engage in devotional service. So therefore, so what happens when we kind of engage in devotional service? That's tapatrayon moolanam. There is this basically in the material world, it is said that there are three types of afflictions that all the living entities in this material world go through. So there is adhyatmic, adhibhautik, and adidaivik. So adhyatmic is the miseries that are coming when from our own body and mind. So that's adhyatmic. Adhibhautik is the miseries that come from other living entities. An example given is that of, for example, if we have mosquito biting, it's a proper in a tropical country like India, for example. So that's something that is a misery caused by another living entity, or if someone is misbehaving with us. So that's again something that would mean that it's causing us misery. So there is adhyatmic. The first is from our own mind and body, whatever difficulties that happen. Second is when the other living entities are kind of giving us trouble. And the third is Adi Daivik. The Adi Daivik is when the difficulties are caused by natural catastrophes. So, for example, what we said about storms that are coming frequently. So, therefore, there is this. This is what happens. The material world is therefore this verse where Krishna is saying that sama dukkha sukham dhiram, so amritatvaya kalpate. So there is when one has equanimity of mind, whether it is sorrow or whether it is happiness, there is equanimity of mind, then such a person is eligible for amritatvaya kalpate. Amritam chaiva mrityuscha sadasascha tapamyaham aham varsham nigranami utsrajami cha amritam chaiva mrityuscha sadasachaham arjuna. So Krishna actually mentions in one of the verses in Bhagavad-Gita that he is the heat. So in summer, whatever heat is experienced, tapamyaham. So he is the heat. Aham varsham. So whatever rain is experienced, for example, in Ireland here, it rains quite a lot. So Krishna says, Aham Varsham. I am the rain. Tapamyaham Aham Varsham. Nigranami Utsrijami cha. So whatever is taken away, he can take away, and whatever he wants to give, he can give. Amritam chaiva mrityuscha. So Krishna is the eternity, and Krishna is something that ends as well. Yes, Amritam chaiva mrityuscha. Sat asat chaham arjuna. So Krishna is the truth, as well as Krishna is the change, the constant change that is happening. That is what is asat. So nasato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sada ubhayor api drishtantastva anayos tattvadarshibhi. So whatever is constantly changing means that it is not eternal, and whatever is eternal never changes. And Krishna says that he's both sat and asat. This is an amazing thing that we can understand, that everything, that the Lord is there in everywhere. Andantarastam paramanu chayantarastam Govinda Madhipurusham ekopyasau rachayitam jagadanda kotim yat shakti asti jagadanda chaya yadanta andantarastam paramanu chayantarastam Govinda Madhipurusham tam bhajami. So Krishna is there, the whole universe, and then Krishna is there in each and every nucleus as well. That's an amazing realization that everyone can have. Then there is no separation when this realization is there. Or there could be, like, separation would be there in terms of the personal association, in terms of where Krishna is saying this verse, for example, the Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakta, Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. So there in those terms, there is the separation. But if we understand it in terms of, so there is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, the different realizations that a transcendentalist can have. So it starts with Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdayate. This is said in Srimad Bhagavatam. What is it saying? That the transcendentalists understand the Lord in three stages. So the first stage is Brahman stage, Aham Brahmasmi. So that stage is where Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhakti labate param. So this is the Brahman stage, where the living entity is, when the Brahman stage is realized, na shochati na kankshati. So there is no hankering and there is no lamentation. Hankering happens because when we identify ourselves with the body, then hankering happens. So how does so body has got these needs. The mind will say that I'm lacking this, I'm lacking that. It compares itself with someone else, and then when there is this comparison, there is this lacking that becomes evident. So then there is hankering. If we think that we lack something, then we hanker to have that thing. So kankshati, there is kankshati, and we try a lot to get the thing, and then we don't get it. Then it is shochati. So we lament. So first of all, we kind of are hankering because we think that we lack something, and then we try to get it. If we get it, we are happy. If we don't get it, shochati, we are sad. And even after getting it, after some time, it loses its significance. It's like a child getting toy. So every time child can get a new toy, but how long does a child play with the toy? Not for a very long time. After some time, the interest in the toy is lost, and then there is a new toy which will come in, and then the cycle continues. So this is the shochati kangshati cycle, and that happens when there is identification with the body. So in the Brahma Bhuta stage, that realization is very clear and strong that the external body is something that is constantly changing, and therefore I am not that. I'm something which never changes, which is the observer. So the Sakshi Bhava, it is called. Then that state is Brahma Bhuta stage. So Samas Sarveshu Bhuteshu. So what happens? So in that state, the living entity sees everyone equally. There is no Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Shwapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. This Samadarshina, that is a very important concept here. So Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. And what is the kind of in the Brahmabhuta stage, what are the characteristics? Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. So one who is endowed with transcendental knowledge and humility. So there is a Brahmana. So Brahma Janati the Brahmana. So one who knows Brahman, he's a Brahmana. And what are his qualities? It is Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. He has got transcendental knowledge. And because of the transcendental knowledge, he has a humility. Because he knows that everything is Lord's. So everything is coming from Krishna. So Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Shwapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. So this is the Samadarshi attitude is there, where the living entity is basically seeing everyone equally. So he's seeing a Brahmana, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane, Gavi, he's seeing a cow, and then Hastini is seeing an elephant. Shuni Chaiva Shwapakecha. Shuni Chaiva Shwapaka. So he's seeing a dog, Shuni. Shwapaka is one who is a dog eater. So he's seeing so many different kinds of living entities and people, but he's seeing that everyone is eternal. Everyone is eternally a part and parcel of Krishna. So that is Samas Sarveshu Bhuteshu. Then in that state, Mad Bhakti Lavati Para. So in that state, the living entity, or especially in the human form of life, starts engaging in devotional service of Krishna. That's the then Mam Choyo Avya Bicharine Bhakti Yogena Sevate Sagunan Samatite Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. So that is the there are two. So one is through the causeless mercy of the Lord, one understanding that he is eternal and engaging in loving devotional service of Krishna, or the other way is one is constantly trying to engage in the devotional service of Krishna, and then that is helping. Mamchoyo avya bicharena bhakti yogena sevate. So one who is engaged in undeviated devotional service, sagunan samatiteta. So what Krishna does in such case is he himself helps that living entity to come out of the three modes of material nature. So it's three modes of material nature which is actually making the living entity to kind of be in the material realm. So sagunan. So when the living entity is in the devotional mode, there's Krishna himself is actually Devi Hyesha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Ye Prapatyante Maya Metam Tarantite. So it is the material energy is very strong because that's all we see. The spiritual energy is hidden. Actually, it's a spiritual energy which is moving the whole world. If there is no spiritual energy, there is no existence. So, but the conundrum here is that in the visibility is there only on the material part. The spiritual part is not visible, and that's where the whole problem happens. So therefore, this yamhi vyatyanti ete purusham purusharshava samadukha sukham dhiram so amritatvaya kalpate. So this one who is not disturbed by the happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. That's what Krishna is saying here. So anyone who is, so Srila Prabhupada mentions, anyone who is steady in his determination for the advanced stage of spiritual realization and can equally tolerate the onslaughts of distress and happiness is certainly a person eligible for liberation. And Srila Prabhupada mentions about the sannyasa ashram where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, even though he is Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurateshe Nama Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurateshe Nama. So this is a verse that Srila Rupa Goswami composed for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he's saying that he is the most munificent incarnation of Krishna. Why? Because he personally gives the love of Krishna to each and everyone. So there's nothing more than that can be given. That's the final, because it's even the liberation is an aspect where sometimes even the demons they get, so the mercy of Lord is such that even the demons they get liberation. So you've seen in the Krishna's history in his story that whoever Krishna had to kind of, because of their demoniac nature, whoever Krishna had to kill, they got liberation. So that liberation, mukti swayam mukulitanjali sevate asman dharmartha kamagatya samaya pratiksha. So this is said by Bilvamangal Thakur. Says that mukti swayam mukulitanjali sevate asman. That there is this liberation is something that is for a devotee. It is not like devotee is not mandatorily after liberation. Devotee is after loving Krishna wherever, it doesn't matter. Iha yasya haridasya. So devotee is basically, there is Narayana para sarve na kutaschana bibhyati swarga apavarga narkeshu api tulyartha darshina. This is said in this Srimad Bhagavatam, where it is said that one who is fully absorbed in devotional service, Naivodvije paradhurate vaityaranyas tvadvirya gayana mahamrita magna chitta Narayana parasarve na kudaschana bibhyati. So therefore devotee is not afraid wherever he is. Swarga apavarga narkeshu. Whether the devotee is in heaven, whether the devotee is in earth, or whether the devotee is in hell. Narkeshu api tulyartha darshina. Doesn't matter, because devotee is constantly remembering Twadvirya Gayana Mahamrita Magna Chitta. So this is a very beautiful verse that Prahlad Maharaj says in Srimad Bhagavatam. He's saying that Twadvirya Gayana Mahamrita Magna Chitta. I'm so much engrossed in your devotional service. My mind is totally absorbed in your devotional service. Virya Gayana Mahamrita. It is like a huge nectarian ocean. Magna Chitta. Shoche tato vimukha chetasa indriyartha maya sukhaya bharam udvato vimodhan. So Prahlad Maharaj is actually saying that for myself, I am not really concerned, because wherever I am, I can be completely absorbed in your devotional service. But I'm a little bit concerned about people who are not interested in engaging in devotional service, because that can be done only in the human form of life, and it is very rarely attained. The Kaumaram Durlabham Manusham Janmam Tadapi Adhruvam Arthadam. Kaumaram Achret Pragnya Dharman Bhagavatanyaha Durlabham Manusham Janmam Tadapi Adhruvam Arthadam. So this is what is said by Prahlad Maharaj again. So that therefore the living entities should try and engage in devotional service of the Lord from the childhood itself. Why? Because Durlabham Manusham Janmam, because the human form of life is very rarely attained. Tadapi Adhruvam Arthadam. And even though it is the biggest wealth that any living entity can get, it is temporary. It is not permanent. So therefore, engaging in devotional service is really a mercy of the Lord, and let's hope that we can continue to engage in devotional service of the Lord and discuss Bhagavad-Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the words of Srila Prabhupada, and make ourselves qualified to know the real essence that can be used in the human form of life. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.